And the Lord said, I'll show you a sign. And what he showed me was Trump is a sign. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, I'm going to read first from verse 51. It said, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. He said, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. Then he pointed out to me, he says, the last trump there means second trump. And he says, the man himself is a sign. Now, this is very interesting. Who would have thought? Now, had he come back with the 2020 election, it would not be second Trump. This is significant. I want you to listen. He would be 45th president of the United States with 2 terms. For him to have a second Trump, he had to go out and come back to be 45th and 47th president of the United States. That is remarkable. In between was Joe Biden, the 46th president. I told you on the 31st, I said, the countdown begins now. For throughout the presidency of Donald J. Trump, during these days, prepare yourself. If at the end of the presidency, nothing significant like I'm sharing with you happens, you can go on a holiday. That will mean you have extra time. But take this seriously, that this is a sign. He said, at the last trump, and I wondered, what's the last trump? And that's what he was showing me, that the last there meant second. At the last trump is the second trump. There are 2 trumpets, 2 trumpet sounds. And again, that's why he says, at the last trump, which is at the second sounding of the trump. And then against all odds, including an attempt to kill him, still he became president. It's a sign, and an important sign. So make your life a ready life every day at the second trump. That's a sign. Be prepared. Make sure you're living for the Lord. Make sure you're telling others about him. Warn your friends and family members. Let them know the day of the Lord is approaching, and approaching fast.
Yeah, folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, because here is where I break down the truth most of the people are very afraid to talk about. So, folks, without wasting much time, we're going to talk about Trump and the people of America. And what about them? What if the chaos in America isn't just political, but spiritual? Have you ever thought about that? Some voices online are now making a very shocking claim that they say the God of black people is using Donald Trump to punish America for its history. Yes, you heard me right, to punish America for its history. So for centuries of slavery, for racism, and for a past many believe it was never fully confronted. False, but is this belief a powerful spiritual interpretation, or is it just simply frustration speaking through faith? What do you think? But because the truth is, this idea is spreading in some corners of the internet, and it's starting a very intense debate. So first, let's watch this video so that we can talk about it at the end of the videos. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Truth is plain to see. If you want freedom, take pride in your country. If you want democracy, hold on to your sovereignty. And if you want peace, love your nation. Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots. The future belongs to sovereign and independent nations who protect their citizens, respect their neighbors, and honor the differences that make each country special.
Okay, I want to take a moment to say thank you to Donald Trump, not out of praise, but out of truth. Because while you rip through every part of this government, tearing down justice, equality, and fairness under the fake excuse of fighting DEI fraud, what you're really doing is confirming what black folks have been saying for generations. America was built on racism, fueled by fear and sustained by white supremacy. You've exposed it all. The masks are off. The polite racism, the fake allyship, the colorblind lies, it's all gone. Now we see it raw and unfiltered. You're not just targeting policy, you're targeting people. Black people, brown people, marginalized communities. And the wild part, we make up the smallest portion of this country, yet somehow we are the biggest threat to the lie that white supremacy built. That should tell you everything. You're afraid not of violence, not of replacement, but of the power we hold even when we have nothing. You see the way our culture, our brilliance, our resilience, our excellence continues to shape this country, even when it tries to erase us. Donald Trump is just the loudest version of a system that's always been in place. He is the living, breathing proof that this country was never designed with us in mind. And yet, we continue to define it. So thank you, Donald, for exposing what so many tried to deny, for showing the world that the fear of black greatness is real, for proving that racism isn't in our imagination, it's in the fabric of this nation. And to my people, we don't have to fight to prove our worth. He's doing that for us. All we have to do is stand firm, stay awake, and know that the truth is finally louder than the lie. We are not broken. We are not the problem. We are the evidence of the power that this country can contain. Let that truth ring louder than its hate.
Okay, this might sound crazy coming from a white guy, but one of the things I see God doing in this second Trump presidency is that he is allowing white folks to see and to feel what the black community has seen and felt in this nation for a very long time. When Charlie Kirk was killed and all of these clips of him saying outright racist things, never mind all the covert racist stuff that he said every single day. But I'm talking about in-your-face racist stuff. And I thought, great, now everyone is going to wake up to who this man is, not just a racist, but a deeply dishonest political operative who dutifully parroted Trump's lies. But instead, they made him a saint and a martyr. I mean, I was at the batting cage with my son the other day, and there was a young kid there wearing a shirt with a big picture of Charlie Kirk on it, and it made me feel despondent. Like there's nothing I can do to open these people's eyes to Trump, to MAGA, to racism, to America as it is, not as we have imagined it to be. And I think I finally understand the skepticism I get a lot of times from black folks, not that y'all are pessimists, but that you're realists. Like we're not just going to have some sort of kumbaya moment and all the racist blinders are going to fall off. It's just too baked in for that. And to watch these MAGA folks day after day who are horribly dishonest, who don't have our best interests in mind, who are constantly gaslighting us and then blaming us for the problems they create, I just believe God is giving us as a nation a glimpse into what the black community has faced here for 400 years. And my hope is that it will lead us to repentance, first to honor them for their struggle, but to also renew our hope, not in ourselves, because we can't put a dent in this thing, but to put our hope in God who can do all.
Trump is now bombing Nigeria. What is next? Under the guise of crusades of Christian and Muslims again. Here we are again. Muslims, Muslim people, the same thing again. The same garbage, vilifying Muslim people, fearing Muslim people when they're doing nothing. No, it's about resources. It's about Trump Gaza. It's about colonialism is now called real estate. The new real estate. Jared Kushner, Trump Gaza, phase 2, under the bones and the bodies of dead children.
He's being used by God as a judge. Whenever God used a man in the Old Testament as a judge, he killed everybody. He exposed everything. He just ran. It's like God saying, here you go. Here's a Thor hammer. Now get to smashing. Because when things have to be judged because of the evil behind the scene, God promised you. He said, there's nothing that is done in secret that we won't eventually expose and shout from the housetops for all to hear. So he's using a man called Trump, and that's why he's exposing everything. The man is exposing everything. I'm wondering if he can expose something I did back 20 years ago.
He said he will target and punish those who disagree with him or refuse to bend to his will. He calls these Americans the enemy within and says that he would use the American military to go after American citizens. Journalists whose stories he doesn't like. Nonpartisan election officials who refuse to cheat by finding a few extra votes for him. Judges who insist on following the law instead of following him. It is for reasons like these that General Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Donald Trump's top general, has called Trump, and I quote, fascist to the core.
In this country, we do not blame the lawlessness of an individual on a whole community. What we also know is that there is not a single evidence that the president or his coolies have put forth that there are any single resource from taxpayers in Minnesota that has gone to aid and abate terrorism. That language is dangerous. That language puts the lives of Somalis not only in Minnesota, but across the country in danger. And if the president believed that and he had evidence, he would take people to court. So we are sick and tired of the president waking up one day and deciding to put forth falsehoods and demonize whole communities while the ignorant people that support him then take the lies that he's spreading and use it as a fact. We've seen it during the campaign where he said Asians were eating cats and dogs. We've seen his vice president repeat those lies. We've seen the media run it as a headline as if it was a fact. That is shameful. That is shameful. That is ignorant. It makes us look like a stupid nation that does not believe in truth but traffics in lies. It makes the world mock us, and we are better than that. We are better than that as Americans.
Yeah, folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you have watched those videos. It's very interesting. Most of the people are in a debate talking about the Trump, President of the United States. But first, to understand why some people say this, you have to understand the history. First, for centuries, Black Americans endured slavery, segregation, and discrimination in the US. Even after the victories of the civil rights movement, many believed the country never fully confronted that painful past. And what do I mean by that? First, so when political chaos and deep division rose during the era of Donald Trump, some people began interpreting it in spiritual terms. They say America once ignored the suffering of black people, and now the country itself seems divided and angry and very unstable. But to them, it looks like a kind of divine reckoning. They argue that America's political battles are not spiritual punishment. They are simply the result of human decision, leadership choices, and a society still struggling with its history. Either way, one thing is clear: America is still wrestling with the consequences of its past. And When history, politics, and faith collide, what do you expect? People will always search for meaning. So, folks, the real question today is America facing divine justice or simply the consequences of its own actions? When the black people were suffering, the white people did not come to sympathize with the black people. Instead, some praised them. So, folks, tell me what you think in the comment sections, and until next time, have a nice one. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for hot news, breaking news, and very, very interesting news.